Okay, we're taking a look at The Devils to Pay, the first day at Gettysburg, designed by Hermann Luttmann. And here it is, July 2019, and I just got my copy 2 or 3 days ago. Apparently it's part of Hermann's blind sword system. The first title came out in 2015, and that was Stonewall's Sword, the Battle of Cedar Mountain. The second one was Thunder in the Ozarks. That came out in 2016. And the third one was Longstreet Attacks, which is the second day at Gettysburg. That came out in 2018. So this one is the fourth in the series and concerns the first day at Gettysburg. Now when my copy came the other day, I was quite surprised when I opened it up to see this very, very small box. I'm kind of used to the standard GMT, MMP size boxes, so when I saw this little guy, I was a little bit concerned. But upon opening it, I got one heck of a pleasant surprise, because Tiny Battle Publishing has packed a lot of stuff in this small box, and this is one terrific game. Now it's my understanding that the system has evolved a little bit from the first three titles. Like I mentioned, I didn't own those titles. I'd never played them, and I was not familiar with the scale. Apparently the scale has been altered slightly for this, and the system streamlined a little bit. I'll show you what comes inside the box. You can see Rick Barber's beautiful map. This is just a terrific map of the area of the first day at Gettysburg. Rick always does a nice job, and it'll be interesting to see where this system goes. I've just been fooling around here, moving some counters. I'm on turn 2, 10 a.m. Anyone who is familiar with the Battle of Gettysburg knows that good old Devon and Gamble defend here against Heath's division coming down the Chambersburg Pike. And here we have Wadsworth's division cutting across the fields, and Rowley's division coming in here on the Fairfield Road at about 10 a.m. So the counters are, well, they're not quite regiments, they're brigades, but to cover their frontages properly, some brigades will have more counters than others. So the research for that part of the game is very well done, and it seems to work. The rules are very well done. They come in kind of the small format here. They're profusely illustrated, lots of large illustrations, easy to find stuff. They're about, 26 pages here, and inside there are a lot of charts and stuff. I'm finding the game very easy to read, and kind of intuitive too. You get a Confederate player aid with lots of charts on there. Flip side gives you the event chits explanations. The Union also has their player aid and the event chit explanations. Combat results table, and all kinds of other charts on the back, and an order of battle for the Confederates and an order of battle for the Union. So that's pretty well it. The counters we'll take a look at closer. They're very beautifully done. They're double-sided, and we'll take a closer look. Okay, we're taking a look at some sample counters now, and there's a mine of information on each type. Let's go from left to right here. Some examples. So you've got Meredith's brigade here. WA, part of Wadsworth's division. Far left number in black is the strength points. The red number is the cohesion level, and the small number here in the green box is which corps it's attached to. So there's a lot of information there. On the flip side, you've got it when it's in its reduced after battle casualties. Now, the artillery is pretty well the same. I was quite surprised. I thought for sure there'd be an unlimbered side and a limbered side, but there isn't. The movement rules for artillery are a little bit different. So you've got the same information there. Wainwright's, part of Wainwright's battalion. In small there you've got the name of the battery. Again, strength points. R what type of cannon there are, in this case rifled. That's still the cohesion number, and that's the corps it belongs to. Now the cavalry are different. There you have your dismounted side for the cavalry corps it belongs to, part of Buford's division. And when you flip to the other side, the cavalry is mounted with different values. Confederates, of course, are the same as the Union. So though there's a lot of information on these counters, it's nicely laid out. And the counters look quite nice on Rick Barber's map. Now, Rick's map is just a beauty to behold. I mean, we've all seen maps of Gettysburg, I'm sure, and we've seen a lot of Gettysburg games over the years. But this is one of the finest maps I've ever seen. It's really good. It shows historic sites, which I always like. Specific buildings are named. The road network is quite clear, and the ridge system is very well done too. And of course, being the first day at Gettysburg, it's concerned mainly with the terrain to the west, north, and a little bit east of the town. This is one of Rick Barber's finest maps, in my opinion. Okay, this game features a Chippool system. You'll take the Union and Confederate chits, and they'll be seeded, and you put them in an opaque container, and when you pull a chit, certain events will occur, or certain units will occur. In this sense, it was similar to Eric Lee Smith's Battle Hymn game, which also used a Chippool system. But this one is entirely different, and I must say I like it better. Battle Hymn had its problems with the Chippool system. I won't get into that in this video, but I can say that the Chippool system on this scale at least, works very, very well. Okay, I'll try to explain what the differences were between Battle Hymn and this game, as far as the Chippool system is concerned. Now in Battle Hymn, if you pulled, let's say for example, the Gamble chit, just meant you could move any units of Gamble's division. This game is quite different. It's got a whole new level in there, and I really like it. For example, let's say you pulled the Reynolds First Corps chit. It says Superior Corps Activation. Well, in Battle Hymn you just move all units of Reynolds Division. This one is quite different. You then go to the command table, and notice it said Reynolds Superior Corps Activation. So you would then go to this chart, look on the Superior row, and you would roll a die. In this case we get a 6, and it would say Efficient. Then you'd look up, it tells you all the good and bad things about whether you rolled slow, timely, or efficient. There's a whole new level of command in this, and boy is it elegant. I could see this system being used for many, many other Gettysburg games. It's just very elegant. It's simple, but it works. The other thing that's different in this Chippool system is that there are event chits, and there are a whole mess of them. Let's say, for example, you were Union, and you had drawn this hot-headed rebels chit. Well, then you look up on the event chits, and look up hot-headed rebels, which you play immediately, and notice the effect. Kind of neat. Play this event on any Confederate unit that is within 2 hexes of a Union unit. Move that Confederate unit adjacent to the Union hex, and it must then conduct an assault combat against that hex. If played on a Confederate unit already adjacent to a Union unit, do not move it. It must attack an adjacent hex. So with this event chit chart, you've got all kinds of unexpected events that can happen during the battle, and that makes this game really alive. I really like that aspect of the game. Now, the Gettysburg area being very much open terrain, movement of troops is fairly easy. The movement factor of infantry and artillery is basically 5, and most of the hexes are just 1 movement point to enter. Going up a slope costs you another 1, up a steep slope costs you 2, and entering woods is also 2. So movement is quite easy in the game, and of course moving along the pikes, as long as you don't go adjacent to an enemy, you can go up to, I believe it's 8 squares. So movement as we've come to expect in most Gettysburg games, is fairly easy in this open terrain. Any good Gettysburg game has got to feature ranged combat, and this one has it in spades. For example, a rifled piece in this game, if you go to the chart, can fire a whopping 10 hexes, of course subject to line of sight. So there's your rifled cannon, range 10 at long range, smoothbore cannon 8, mixed cannon 10, infantry muskets, carbines 2 hexes. So you do have ranged combat in this game, and one thing I love about the combat system is it's a two-tiered system. Let me explain that. Now, in tons of games that we've played, we have the standard combat results table where you simply add up the strength points, roll, in this case it's 2 dice using a base 66 system, crosshatch your die roll with the result, and that's the final result. This game does not use that system, and again, that's why I like it so much. You first roll on this table to get a result, and then you go to another table to find out the effect of that result. And you would roll again to get the final modifier. So it's a two-tiered system. That's true for fire combat and assault combat. So it's mitigates the luck factor. I'm not traditionally very lucky at dice rolls, so anything that alleviates the luck factor is quite okay for me. Now that means that this game there's going to be a lot of die rolling, but it isn't your roll a 6 to get a hit. It's far more complex than that. You've got column shifts for assault combat, shifts for fire combat, of course, and there's a mine of information on these charts. This is not a simple game, but I don't want to say it's a complex game either. It's just a well done, designed game. I can't say enough good things about this game. How does the game play out? Well, to be quite frank, I can't tell you. I wouldn't know. I've only moved a few counters around. Just having Davis and the boys come down the pike. I've engaged with Tidball's battery. Got a few shaken results. Some unexpected things with chits. I just love this game. There's just a lot happening here. Is it balanced? Again, couldn't tell you. I mean, the situation at Gettysburg is inherently imbalanced anyway on the strategic side. But on the first day at Gettysburg, with the units arriving all over the place, I think it's pretty balanced, but that's not an important factor for me. Balance was never important for me in games. I see it's also based on the latest research, which I think is very nice. We've got Rowley's division coming in on the Fairfield Road. I don't know how many Gettysburg games I've seen where they've got Rowley coming in on the Emmitsburg Road. Yes, we all know that Rowley left Emmitsburg on its way to Gettysburg on July 1st, but it did not come into the battlefield area on the Emmitsburg Road. It actually wandered off to the west and then ended up coming in on the Fairfield Road. So it is based on the latest research, something I love. Again, I love Rick's map. Just really nice. It just reinforces everything I've seen at the battlefield and seen on topographic maps. Especially I love the touch with the individual houses. The Carrie Sheed's house, which still stands today. The Lutheran Theological Seminary. Thompson House might be there. No, don't see it actually. Might be there. Yeah. So there's the Thompson House, which was Lee's headquarters. And the McPherson Farm buildings. And of course you've got your good old Cemetery Hill. The game cuts off just to the south of Cemetery Hill because we are concerned mainly at the first day at Gettysburg. There are a couple of scenarios. There's a tutorial which just has you move a few counters. The main game, of course, is the battle game, which starts at 9 a.m. on July 1st and goes till about 8 p.m. There are variables because Slocum's 12th Corps was in the vicinity and eventually came up from the Baltimore Pike. That's optional rolls, since he didn't really get there in time to affect the battle. So there's a lot here. There's a lot going for this game. And I'm wondering where the series will go next. Okay, while I was taking a break while shooting the video, I contacted Rick Barber by email. Rick, of course, is the artist for this game who did the map. And I wanted to ask him a few questions about where the system is heading. And I was very glad to hear that they're going to be doing a southern expansion for this map. In fact, Rick has actually commenced the work on that map already. I don't know what that game will be called, when it will come out, or even who's publishing it, but I'm very excited about getting an expansion for this. So I'll wrap up the video pretty soon. While I think of it, many people email me and ask me what my favorite Gettysburg game is. Well, that's a pretty open and loaded question. To answer that, you have to be more specific. Do you mean a Gettysburg game on the regimental battery scale, division, brigade, corps, the campaign, whatever? Well, traditionally, my favorite game on Gettysburg for many, many years was the Avalon Hill Gettysburg 1977 version, the intermediate game. I still have great affection for that game. The other one was the one that appeared in Command magazine. Was that one called Gettysburg Lee's Greatest Gamble? I think so. For many years, that was my favorite game too. And more recently, I got Eric Lee Smith's Battle Hymn, and I quite liked that. But without letting the cat out of the bag, or maybe letting it out of the bag, I think this one could very well be my favorite game on the Battle of Gettysburg when I get the expansion, because I'm not a great fan of sections of battle. Although the first day at Gettysburg is probably the area of the battle I like the most. But in closing the video, I think this is one great game. And congratulations to Tiny Battle Publishing. I've never bought a product from them before, and certainly will be looking at them in the future. They've done a nice job. And Hermann, thank you very much for designing this game. It is very well done, and I'm looking forward to the southern expansion. So that's it, and thank you for watching.